Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another day. Today's Wednesday. We're learning Perek Bays of Mesechus Gittin. Today's shiur is Lili Nishmas Aaron Nachman ben Simchat Cohen, Rishon Marcha B'Shev Sabracha Sabash Malev, and beyond Moshe ben Yosef. May the Nashtalos have an Aliyah. And before Shem, if you're Sabah Racha Leah, Racha B'Spas Zelda, Racha Aliyana B'Siyah Bracha, Yisavim Yischa Ben Risha, Chai B'Stel Bela, for Shem B'Sel Shachal Yisrael. And also a special shout out to our sponsor, Seder Nashim, the Imperial Advisory Group, helping companies with their CFO requirements for over 30 years. If your company needs help, reach out to them at imperialgrp.com. Okay, here we go. Perek Bays, Mishnah Aleph. Moving right along. Going back to what we started yesterday about an agent who brings a gift from overseas. He says it was written in my presence, but he did not say it was signed in my presence. Or he says it was signed in my presence, but he did not say it was written in my presence. Or he said, all of it was written in my presence, and half of it was signed in my, and half of it was signed in my presence. At least one of the two witnesses signed the get. Or he said half of it was written in my presence, and all of it was signed in my presence, and all of it was signed in my presence. In each of these cases, puzzle, the get is puzzle. For a get to be kosher, the agent must testify that he saw the writing and the signing of the entire get. The next case, someone else came along with the agent, and one of them says it was written in my presence, and the other one says it was signed in my presence. Puzzle, the get is puzzle. Although, even though there are two witnesses over here, the Chachamim required that the agent must say the entire testimony, namely that he saw both the writing and the signing of the get. Another case. There were three people, the agent and two other witnesses, and one of them says it was written in. And two of them say it was written in our presence, and the third one says it was signed in my presence. Puzzle, get his puzzle. Even if the agent was, even if it was the agent who said he saw the signing, since he did not testify about the entire process, no good. But Yehuda, however, considers it valid in the case where the two witnesses said that they saw the writing, and the agent said that he saw the signing. Since two witnesses testified to having seen the writing, there was no need for the agent to say anything about it. Therefore, his sin that he saw the signing of the get is enough. In the reverse case, if one of them says it was written in my presence, and the other two say it was signed in our presence, kosher, the get is kosher. In these two cases, we have two witnesses testifying that the get was properly signed, which is all we need to validate any legal document. Therefore, it doesn't matter. It does not matter that only one person testifies that he saw the writing of the get, because even without anyone testifying about that, the get is still kosher. Mishnah Beis, nechta bayom and nechta bayom. If the get was written during the day and signed during the day, or it was written during the night and signed during the same night, or it was written during the night and signed during the following day, which is the same calendar day, because the day starts at night. In each of these cases, kosher, the get is kosher because it was written, dated, and signed on the same day. If it was written during the day and signed during the following night, possible, no good, because the get cannot be predated. It must be signed on the day that it's dated, since the night after the day is considered the beginning of the next day. That's a predated get and is possible. Rabbi Shimon Machshir, Rabbi Shimon considers the predated get Rabbi Shimon, for Shimon used to say, "Kol hagitish nechtu b'yom and nechtu b'layla pesulim." All the apostle, because they allow the person holding the document to collect the money that's owed to him from property that was sold after the date written in the document, but before the document was signed the next day. Chutz mikitei nashim. This is true for all documents except for the Gittin of women, which is used for divorce and not for collecting debts. Mishnah Kimball. The call coaster. We may write it get with all types of ink, with the yo, with the black ink used to write a Torah, Basam with orpiment, it's a yellow dye, the sikra with vermilion, which is a red dye, with kumos, with gum Arabic, tree sap, with kankantum, or with ferrous sulfate, ink made from which is an ink made from iron treated with sulfuric acid. Or with anything that is lasting, any ink that leaves a permanent mark when it dries, ain't kosmin low and bemashkin. However, we may not write a get with liquids such as berry juice, or of meperos, or with other fruit juice, or with anything that is not lasting. So we may write a get upon anything. Al even on the leaf of an olive tree that after it has been detached from the tree. Or the horn of a cow that is still attached to the cow, but he must then give her the entire cow. You can write a get on the horn of the cow, then you have to give her the cow. Al yad, and to a slave, then give her the slave. Rabbi Yosef disagrees with these rulings. Says ein kosin lo al darash yisva ruachad. You may not write get on anything that's alive, such as a cow or a slave, lo al achlim, or on foods such as olive leaves, which are food for dogs. Cannot do it. It must be written about a material that's similar to a document, which is neither alive nor food. Mishnah Dalit. We may not write again on something that is attached to the ground, such as a leaf or the bark of a tree, as we just learned. Although no part of the get should be written on something still attached to the ground. If he wrote the standard part of the get on something attached to the ground, and he then detached it and completed it by writing the essential part of the get and gave it to her, kosher, it is kosher, even though the rabbis asked her to write any part of the get while it is still attached to the ground, as long as the essential part was written after the get was detached, it is kosher after the fact. Rabbi Yehuda posed salash the Rabbi Yehuda invalidates such a get unless the writing of the standard wording of the get and the completion of the essential part of the get are both done when it is detached from the ground. According to Rabbi Yehuda, the Chachamim did indeed invalidate a get if any part of it was written while attached to the ground. Rabbi Yehuda ben Meseira says, "En kosim lo al hanayer hamachak." We may not write a get on paper that has been erased, or al duftera, or unfinished parchment, because the get can be forged, and these surfaces can be erased and rewritten without the changes being noticed. Therefore, they are possible for Gittin because the wife might erase parts of the get and write whatever she wants in its place. The Chachamim consider Gittin written on these materials to be kosher. According to the Chachamim, it is the witnesses who see the get being given that make the get effective, not the ones who sign it. Therefore, if she wishes to remarry on the basis of a get that is at risk of being forced after it was given to her, we require her to bring these witnesses to prove that she was properly divorced and that nothing has been erased from the get. Mishnah Hey. Hakok Shevin Lichtovus a get. Everyone is qualified to write a get. Afilu Cherish to a even a deaf, mute, and the same person and a minor, although they are considered mentally incompetent, they too may write the standard part of the get. as long as the competent adult supervises the writing and instructs them to write it. It's specifically for the sake of the woman who is being divorced. Yeah, then give it to the husband to use to divorce her. That's pretty wild. Um, uh, okay. Ha'ish, the Ha'ish kosef as shova. And the man may write his own receipt for the ksuba payment and give it to his divorced wife to have witnesses sign it and return it to him as proof of payment. She'ein kiyam haget ela b'chosma. Because the power to get a divorce is established only by its signers, by its witnesses, and therefore it makes no difference who writes it. Similarly, other legal documents are valid only because they are signed by witnesses. It does not matter who writes them. Hakok, Sheil, Havias Haget. Everyone is common to bring the get to the wife. Chutz Mecher Shot Katan, except for a deaf mute, an insane person, and a minor who are considered mentally incompetent. The Summa, a blind person who cannot say, this get was written in my presence and signed in my presence. The Nachri, and a non-Jew who is not chayav the same laws of divorce as a Jew is. Kibel Hakatan Vehegdil. If a minor received a gift from the husband to deliver it to the wife, and he then grew to adulthood, he was over 13 before giving it to her. Cheirish nispakach, nispakach. Or if a deaf mute received it and he then became able to hear and speak, suma v'nispatach. Or if a blind person received it and then was able to see, shota v'nishtafa. Or if an insane person received it and he then became sane, nachum niskaya. Or if a non-Jew received it and then converted to Yiddishkeit. Also, each of these cases, the receiver was unfit to serve as others' agent the time they received it, and the husband, they never became his agents. Therefore, they cannot give. Ava pikeya nischarish. However, if a hearing and speaking person received a get from the husband to deliver to his wife and then became a deaf mute, and then before delivering the get to the wife, he regains his hearing and speech. Pasuach, the nistama, the chadla, the or the seeing person received it and then became blind, and then before delivering it, he regained the sight. Shafoy v'nishtata, the chazav v'nishtafa. Or if a sane person received it and then became insane, and then before delivering it, he regained his sanity, kasher. In each of these cases, he is fit to serve as the husband's agent to deliver the get. This is the rule. Anyone who is mentally competent at the beginning when he receives the get from the husband, and at the end when he delivers it to the wife, is fit to serve as the husband's agent, even though there was a period in between he was not fit. Mishnah Zion. Even these women, even those women who are not as trusted to say in court that her husband died and she is permitted to remarry, they are trusted to bring her get from overseas to Israel and testify that the get was written and signed in their presence. And who are these women? We've seen this before. We saw it in Sota. We saw it before that. Chomasa ubas chamosa v'tzarasa v'yedinta ubas baila. Her mother-in law's daughter, meaning her husband's sister, her co-wife, her husband's other wife, her husband's brother's wife, and her husband's daughter, meaning her stepdaughter. These five women are present to resent. They're known to resent the wife. They're therefore not believed to testify that the husband died because they are suspected of lying in order to ruin her by causing her to remarry unlawfully and suffer many penalties. Wonderful people in the world, all right? Okay. My so what is the difference between a get, but which these women are believed, and the husband's death, which they are not believed? Why do we not suspect these women of lying about a get as well? So that she will lawfully, that she will remarry unlawfully. The difference is that the written document shows that they are telling the truth. The sign get that these women bring is a true evidence that this man is divorcing his wife. We therefore believe them to add the minor piece testimony that the get is valid. You only have their word to go by, and since what they say. For herself may bring her get except that she must say upon delivery the get was written in my presence and signed in my presence, like all agents who deliver the get. Fascinating. The woman could be her own agent, deliver the get to the agent of the husband. So why did it just get delivered? They're divorced to Chutzlaretz with the husband and wife, right? Is there a question? Okay, for a different day. Have a wonderful day. Call too. Thank you for joining us.